Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Failing My Way in Public to Success, the Mark Sclair podcast. Thank you for joining the show today. I'm waving at my YouTube viewer, Mum, thanks, I hope you're well, and everyone else on Apple Play, Spotify, and any other platform Anchor puts me out on. You could have been anywhere else, but you're here with me today, and I appreciate that. Now, not my last podcast, but the podcast before, I spoke about the hate I have when people say Rocky is just a boxing movie. Now, when I did this podcast, I delved into the story of Sylvester Stallone. So I haven't even touched on Rocky really, the movie. The story of Sylvester Stallone by itself is just an incredible story. If you haven't watched it, I put a link for my previous podcast in this one, but also there's an interview with Sylvester Stallone about his story, his backstory, and it's so, even if you don't watch the Rocky movies, just that story by itself is enough to motivate you and inspire you to become better and know that there's a chance. There's always an opportunity, and if you believe enough, it can happen to you. But you've got to be consistent, you've got to carry on, you've got to believe that you can do it. So over the festive time, Christmas, New Year's, I got a chance to sit down and watch all 6 Rocky movies again. And that's because my girlfriend hadn't watched the movies before. So any chance for me to watch them, I'm quite happy to do. And the only thing about watching a movie with your girlfriend that hasn't watched these movies before is you get the questions. What's happening here? Why is this happening? What's going on there? Now, once we got past all of that, it went swimmingly well. She ended up loving the movies, so much so that she's a kids dance instructor, and she ended up getting one of the Rocky songs and putting it as one of her dance routines on the kids dance, and they all loved it. And it's amazing for me to be able to pass on my love for Rocky into someone else, where they then run with it as well and then pull it into other people as well. So absolutely brilliant for me to do that. And that's what I try to do with everything, really. Everything I'm motivated by, everything I'm inspired by, everything I love, I have a belief in it, and I feel that if people are willing to listen, I'm not going to push it on you, I'm not going to shove it down your throat. But if you're willing to listen and you're asking questions, then I'm happy to speak about it. So if you're here now, it means in some way you kind of want to hear what's going on. So let's delve into this now. As I said, got a chance to watch the Rocky movies over Christmas and New Year, so this is fresh in my head and I wanted to speak about it now. So Sylvester Stallone plays Rocky, and let's delve into Rocky 1 straight away. It starts out, he's in this rundown arena and he's boxing this guy, and he's literally getting trash thrown at him. He's being told he's a scumbag, he's a no-hoper, he's a bum. Great way to start the movie. And you can't really think that this fight is even sanctioned either, because he ends up getting headbutted by the boxer that he's fighting, and Rocky loses his cool and he ends up bashing into this guy. That's how the movie starts. And then it goes back to the locker room, where he's sharing a locker room with the same guy he just fought, where he just bashed his head in, and he gets paid $45 for this fight. $45 for a fight, and this was about his 30th fight as well. So when you speak about Rocky and becoming this champion and heavyweight champion, he'd been through so much before. He'd fought 30 fights, he's still only getting paid $40. What was the story even before this? Just truly incredible. So with this, as chance would have it, the heavyweight champion of the world, Apollo Creed, was due to fight somebody, but the person had pulled out because of some injury. So Apollo couldn't fight somebody else within any other ranking, because it either was too close to the time we were supposed to fight, or these people were just ducking and diving him. So he comes up with the idea to make this exhibition fight. He's going to give a chance to a local guy, and this is the American dream. This is what it's all about. Somebody off the streets being able to have a possibility of fighting the heavyweight champion of the world. We all want that hope. We all live for that hope, don't we? We're all working day in, day out for that opportunity, and we want to grab it. And as chance would have it, he's going through this book. It's signed by Mike Tyson here, actually. So, keeping it boxing. He's going through this book, and he's like, the Italian Stallion. And he's like, it was Thanksgiving, and he's given a chance to this Italian guy who is going to get a chance to fight the heavyweight champion in the world. So there's a lot of stuff that's gone on during this time. Rocky has had a falling out with the with the gym where he's a member at. They've kicked him out. They've taken his locker away, like he's seen as a bum. You know, he had something great within him, but he just hung around on the streets, and he was this debt collector, and this loan shark, this money collector, and the gym owner just had enough of it, and he's down on his luck. He's out. There's no hope there, and all of a sudden he gets a phone call from a boxing promoter, and he thinks it's to spar with Apollo Creed to get him set for fighting this fight. He thinks it's still happening. Turns out he's been offered the chance to fight a heavyweight champion of the world. What would you do? We live for this moment, but would you grab it, or would you fear and be like, no, I've got no chance, there's no point, I'm just going to walk away? Yeah? What would you do? So he's got this chance, and he's umming and ahhing what he's going to do. And then he's the guy from the gym, the trainer, approaches him after he finds out, and nobody's looked after him, nobody's cared for him, nobody's wanted to know anything about Rocky until now they know he's been offered this chance to fight heavyweight champion of the world. Everyone's coming out, everyone's his best friend all of a sudden, and I'm sure that's happened. The moment you get some sort of success, all these people start coming out of the woodwork, and it's like, you weren't with me before, you're not here, you're not going to be with me now. You call me a bum, you call me a no-hoper. Why? Why do you want to fight me? Why do you want to help me now? And again, I think that's so true. But in the end, they end up resolving their issues, and they end up taking on the heavyweight champion of the world. He's got this chance. And as this is going on, he's developing a relationship with a lady called Adrian. Now, Adrian works in the pet shop across the road. She's a very shy woman. She's grown up, and nobody's even looked at her, let alone said hello to her. But he likes her. He likes her, and he approaches her constantly, and he's trying to tell her jokes, and it's pretty cringeworthy, to be fair. But you can see like he's trying his best. He's trying to like be romantic, and she's very shy. And in the end, they end up going out on this date because her brother forces them to do it. Ends up going out on this date. And that really is the foundation of what this movie is all about, because as much as we think it's a boxing movie, and as much as we think it's about motivation and inspiring people, he has this woman now, he has his why, he has something to fight for. Like all these fights before, he wasn't undefeated, but he didn't have a purpose. Now all of a sudden, he's met this woman makes him who he wants to be. She sees great in him. She sees things that most people don't, and they actually complement each other. Rocky was always told, you haven't got much of a brain, so you should use your body. And she was told, you haven't got much of a body, so you should use your brain. And I just think that's amazing. So they come together with this, and there's a moment in the movie, he's trained, and he knows he's not going to win this fight. He knows it, and it's probably quite contradicting of what I was saying before, because you get given this chance and you want to win. It's a chance against the heavyweight champion of the world, but he knows he's not got a chance. But all he says, and this is what he says to Adrian, he says, all I want to do is go the distance. Nobody's ever gone the distance with Creed before, and that it's so true. It's not about the destination, it's about the journey. And he's going on this journey, and that's why in the movies going forward from here, it's like one punch, one step, one round. You get there, you build up, and all he wants to do is go the distance with Apollo Creed, the heavyweight champion of the world. Nobody's ever gone the distance with Apollo. So the fight, it's seen as an exhibition, but Rocky's taking it very seriously. Has Apollo trained for it? Who knows? You can see his head was kind of involved in running of the media and running of the build up to the fight, trying to get bums on seats, trying to get TV money, everything like that. And his head wasn't focused in it. And sometimes you get a chance like this. Sometimes you get a chance, but there's somebody that is more experienced than you, is better than you, has got all of this stuff behind them, but they've lost focus, they've lost concentration, and you've been waiting. You've been waiting for that moment, and now you're going to grab it. So the fight starts, and Apollo comes out and he starts throwing his jabs, and Rocky is called the Rock because you just bash his head in all the time, but he's a bruiser, and he keeps on coming at him, and I think that's so. I'm probably not articulating this the right way. I mean, hopefully my passion's coming across, but to see him fighting and to see him going the distance with somebody, you know, when nobody gave him a chance, nobody gave him a hope, but he knew that he had it within him to go the distance, and that's all he wanted. He might lose the fight, but he wanted to go the distance. And there's a part in the movie towards the end, I think it's in the 14th round, and he gets knocked down, and at this time boxing matches were 15 rounds, and he gets knocked down in the 14th round, and even Mickey's trainer saying, stay down, stay down, stay down, you know, like, you've done amazing, don't worry about it. He gets up and the camera goes over to Apollo, and he's like, what have I got to do to knock this man down, to put him away? He keeps coming at me, and I just can't get rid of this guy no matter what I do. And wouldn't you love to be thought of like that, where somebody just knows you're never going to go away? Yeah, you make 50,000 phone calls in a year, you know you're going to get somewhere, you keep on going on, you're never going to stop, and we're going to make so many mistakes in our lives, we're going to fail so many times, but it's the ones that are willing to keep on going. And then when that person's looking over and they're like, man, what have I got to do to get rid of you? Well, if you want to get rid of me, you've got to sign me up. You've got to do business with me. You've got to be my client. You've got to work with me. There's so many things here. And thank God I've had that response from quite a few people in my time, where they're like, you just don't give up, do you? You keep on going on. And it's movies and songs and music and quotes and other things that inspire me so much. And anyone that knows me, all I do, I'm a human quote machine, a human jukebox. You say any word, any line, and I literally reference it to a movie. That's just how I am. That's how I get inspired. Even now, I'm just thinking of what Rocky was saying. It's how I'm made, Adrian. I'm a man. Yeah, I'm a man. You gotta let me be a man. Anyway, so I think that's Rocky 1, and that by itself is incredible. Is it a boxing movie? Yes, but is it so much more than that? Yes. Does it push us? Does it motivate us? Is there a love in this movie? Is he an honourable man? Does he want to do right by people? Does he care for the woman that he loves? Does he show it in a way that, you know, most people would only dream for within a relationship? And as I said in the previous podcast, when my girlfriend watched this Rocky movie, the first thing she said to me was, this is the definition of love. The way they support each other, the way they care for each other. It's so important. And as I said to her before we even watched the movie, this is what I look for in a relationship. So no test, yeah, no worry, don't worry about it, but this is what I look for. They support each other, they care for each other. It's not just the man goes out and he does everything. No, she is there, she is supporting, and that's the way it should be, really. So I think we'll finish off there. That's Rocky 1. I'm going to put a bit in the description. As I said, there's a story of Stallone before the movie. I'm going to put the link in the description, and also the link to my previous podcast. But I really appreciate you being here today. As I said, you could have been anywhere else, but you're here right now, and I appreciate that. So have a great day. The next one will be coming up. It's going to be Rocky 2, and we're going to be delving into that one as well, because if you didn't even know, he went the distance with Apollo. He went the distance. But what happens in the next movie? Find out next week. Have a great day. See ya. Bye. Thanks for listening and watching, guys. I hope there were some real gems that you get inspired by and take action with. Within the description, I tried to mention everything that's been spoken about, but on a daily basis, I put out content to inspire and help others. To see more, please like, subscribe and follow me on Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Spotify and Apple Podcast. Search by the name Mark Sclair. Thank you very much again, and I hope you enjoy the journey.